So where to begin, Stephen? There's no shortage of horror stories when it comes to traveling with accommodations, but WestJet is hoping to change that. The Canadian airline has issued its first accessibility plan progress report and launched new services to enhance travel for passengers with disabilities. Key updates of the report include increased size and weight limits for mobility devices, improved tagging procedures for loading mobility aids, and new identification codes for different types of wheelchairs. These initiatives aim to ensure the careful handling of mobility devices and better overall accessibility for travelers. The progress report outlines WestJet's commitment to ongoing improvements in accessibility. Let's talk about streaming services for a second. The CRTC, Canada's governing body over telecommunications, is introducing new fees for online streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc., as part of its efforts to modernize Canada's broadcasting framework under the Online Streaming Act. The new regulations require online streaming services operating in Canada and earning over $10 million or more in annual revenues to register with the CRTC, and they're going to be forced to pay fees that will contribute to Canadian and Indigenous content production. Now, these changes are aimed to ensure that all online streaming services contribute to the cultural and content goals of Canada, similar to what traditional broadcasters have been doing for many, many years now. Dexcom has announced that its G7 continuous glucose monitor will now be compatible with the Apple Watch. This makes a significant advancement in diabetes technology. The integration allows users to monitor their glucose levels directly from their Apple Watch without needing a separate device. The G7 features improved accuracy, a smaller size, and a faster warm-up time compared to previous models. Now, if you know these devices, they're about the size of a penny, and they actually stick on your arm or part of your body where you can scan it. Pretty cool. The development enhances convenience and accessibility for diabetes management, making it easier for users to keep track of their health on the go. Uber has introduced a new service called Uber Caregiver. It's a new service enabling caregivers to arrange, pay for, and monitor rides and deliveries for individuals that they assist. The service includes a three-way chat for caregivers, users, and drivers, along with real-time updates, and it partners with Medicaid, Medicare Advantage, and commercial insurers to actually cover the cost of transportation and even delivery costs. Users can assign caregivers to manage their Uber accounts starting this summer, with grocery delivery options launching later in the year. The Government of Canada has launched a new call for proposals under the Enabling Accessibility Fund, EAF, allocating $14.7 million for about 150 small-scale construction projects to improve accessibility. Priority is going to be given to projects led by Indigenous organizations and those supporting persons living with disabilities and living in poverty. Additionally, $18.7 million has been announced for 264 projects from the 2022 CFP process. This initiative supports government's Disability Inclusion Action Plan, aiming to build accessible and inclusive communities across the country. Very, very cool stuff, Stephen, this week, especially that Uber one. That's going to be a game changer, I think, for people who have loved ones, especially helping them along the way, which is really neat.
Yeah, we're going to dig into that a little bit later. I also want to mention that diabetes tool as well, which is fantastic. We're starting to see more and more of these devices come online. This latest device adding to the Freestyle Libre that has been out for a couple of years. Still some issues, although, with the Freestyle Libre around accessibility. Voiceover support still lacking in some areas. And when you think about diabetes being linked to sight loss and the way it is so important that these devices are correct when it comes to accessibility and features. So I hope this new device follows not the path of Freestyle Libre and actually is more accessible. That's really, really important because these are key tools.
Well, just being able to monitor on your Apple Watch without having to take out your phone and scan it like the Freestyle Libre, even the previous generations of the Dexcom, it's going to make it easier for people especially people who are constantly monitoring their glucose. You know, there are other people who are, just doing it every couple days, doing their blood in the morning and the night. This is really for real-time monitoring and be able to get that instant access and notifications, especially if something's about to happen. You want to make sure that you can mitigate that before it happens. So it's pretty cool stuff, Stephen.
I was reading, though, this week that there's a suggestion that Apple won't bring this into the Apple Watch. That was always the hope, that Apple would actually build this into the watch. But that doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon, does it?
No, I mean, listen, if you think about these devices, there's actually a small needle on them that actually penetrates the skin so that it gets that real-time information. I can't imagine it's very easy to monitor glucose levels without having that actual penetration of the skin. So from a topical point of view, I'm not sure just that technology is in a place where it can do that with light or any kind of sensors like that. But you know what? There's a lot of stuff coming up next week at WWDC, and that's actually the question of the week, Stephen, which is, I know that you're eager to answer this, but here's the question, okay? With WWDC a week away, or less than a week away, what do you hope to see from Apple at this year's Developers Conference? We got some pretty cool responses, and I think a lot of people are eager to see what's coming next. People want to jump on board. The fact that they have to wait 3 months to actually get it on their devices is interesting, but it gives developers a chance to integrate that kind of stuff. So let us know what you think. With WWDC a week away, what do you hope to see from Apple at this year's Developers Conference? Of course, you can get involved on all our social media at Access Tech Live, and our email address, keep that handy, feedback@accesstechlive.com, and you can get involved. Coming up, we're going to break down some of the headlines making news this week, plus later on, Hume AI giving AI emotions. Yep, it's coming up here on Access Tech Live. Don't go anywhere.
Get involved and have your say at Access Tech Live on social media. We'll be right back.